Get started. We've been working on creating the 6 illusions of space, and we've moved quickly. So I want you to follow my movie to start the beginning of this document. So you'll simply go to File, make sure I'm in Illustrator. Simply go to File, New. You want to name this 6 illusions, illusions of space, underscore, put your name here, like I'll put Tiffany here. Type in 6 artboards. Make sure that this button is selected and the arrow is pointing to the right. Spacing is 1/4 of an inch apart, and you're going to make sure that you're in the letter size document and that it's a landscape. CMYK is fine here. You press OK. We're going to begin with this artboard. If you notice, every time you click on a different artboard, that it becomes active. So in order to see your artboards, you're going to go to Window, and you're going to go to Artboards. You notice you'll have artboards here. Now if you notice that there are 2 tabs here, you can click, hold, and undock. Remember that word. Undock a panel. So then you just see the panel that you're working with. Now we have here 6 artboards that you are going to use. And this is going with the little pre-test that you guys were given when you first got into the class. So you're going to name your artboards. And to name your artboard, you simply click on the artboard icon and name the first artboard, which is Overlap. Everything stays the same here. You press OK. And you're going to do that for each artboard. You have 6. You have shading, what's next? Placement. The next one is placement. Placement. And I'm just pressing return instead of OK when I finish typing. Alright, so if you notice, you have the name of each artboard. You have the artboards panel, and you also have an artboard tool where you're allowed to create artboards manually. And you simply click, hold, and drag. If you look up here, this is called your control panel. If you notice, it says artboard, just like this says artboard. And your control panel allows you to manipulate whatever is selected. Here's your width and your height of your artboard. You can simply come in here and you can change these numbers. This is 16 for the width and 3.7 for the height. If you notice, everything went into place. And you simply press Escape on your keyboard. Anytime you're trying to get back to editing artboards, you simply go to Document Setup, Edit Artboards. If you notice, in the control panel, you can control the name of the artboard. So if you wanted to name the artboard so that you see the title here, you can simply go here and type in title. And if you notice here, this is where you change the orientation of your document. Right now we're in landscape, and here it's portrait, but we're going to keep it in landscape. Alright, and we press Escape. So now we're here on this first artboard. And I want to go through this kind of quickly, so make sure you're paying attention. Alright, so we have the rectangle tool. You simply click on the rectangle, you click, you hold, and you drag. I'll delete it because there's another way that you can also create a rectangle. You just simply press the key, and then there's numbers here. Let's see what size this particular rectangle is. Don't forget your selection tool allows you to select objects so that you can move them. Every object that you draw in Illustrator has a fill and a stroke. The fill is the inside of the object, and the stroke is the outside of the object. So the rectangle you draw here, we're going to make sure that it has no fill. So I'll hit the none key. And the size of this particular rectangle, if I go to transform in the control panel, I can see the size here. And if you want to, you can copy these numbers here. Okay. Next, we have the ellipse tool. And it's on the same button as the rectangle tool. And you're going to simply go to the tear off so that you can see it. That's what that means, tear off. Go to ellipse tool. When you're drawing a circle, you must hold the shift key down to constrain its proportions. You can also click once, just like you did in the rectangle, and you can put your numbers in. I'll press OK here. I'll move this into my rectangle. If we notice, we have 3 circles. So if we look over here in our fill and stroke, right now it has a none fill, but we want a white fill. So you simply double click and you can choose a color. If you don't see the color that you want here, you can always use the sliders to move into the color range and then select it. I press OK. I want 3 circles, so I can simply go to Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste. And that's one way to get a copy. You can also, if you have your cursor over your object, hold down your Option key on your keyboard, you click, you hold, and you drag. Now if you notice, this particular circle looks as if it's in the front, but we want this particular object to be in the front and this one to go all the way to the back. So I'll click on the object that I want to be in the front. I go to Object, Arrange, Bring to Front. Then I want this one to go all the way to the back. So I go to Object, Arrange, Send to Back. The last thing we need is our horizon line. And we're simply going to use the line segment tool. You click, you hold, you drag. As you start to drag, notice how you can move the line around. Now you hold your shift key and drag across. Notice that my lines are in the front of my objects and it needs to be behind them. Click on the object, go to Object, Arrange, Send to Back. Now you have these same options on your right click on your mouse. So if you have the object selected, you do a right click. You should, you should get a drop down menu. I have to change my settings on my computer, but you will get a drop down menu that also allows you to change the objects from front to back or bring it to backwards. So that's it for that particular artboard. So this is a movie 1 for you. Hopefully you can get through this before the class, which I think you should.